I mean, you have to imagine that if he is playing this kind of strategy that he has tested against Mono Black, as it is the most prolific deck in the format, and that he has a game plan at the very least. And if he's comfortable with the matchup, more power to him. Now, Schoolcraft does have main deck copies of Lifebane Zombie. He does not have Nightveil Spectre, and he's going to be on the play. So that's a thing that could certainly come up here in this matchup as we do watch it. But again, Aaron Barich, he said he's comfortable in the matchup. You know he knows Niagara decks. He has a pedigree of winning Open Series. I think it's very hard to pick against him. I really do. So we'll see if he's able to find a hand that he does like. You see Schoolcraft is going to be on the play. He's a 6 seed. Barich is your 7. It looks like both players are happy. They're just waiting for the green light to go ahead. And we're going to start our semifinals here with a Temple of Deceit.
Yeah, so in this matchup, at least game 1, Mono Black Devotion has a couple plans. It can be on the kill everything plan. It also can be on the just make pack rats plan. As we do see a turn 2 pack rat, it is an option for Schoolcraft. And he does have the mana and the Mutavault to have a pretty aggressive pack ratting draw.
Barich going to play a Temple of Plenty. Top card's going to go to the bottom. He's going to pass the turn back over to Schoolcraft, who, as you did mention, does have the ability to play a pack rat on turn number 2. He did pick up a Temple for the turn, but it looks like he may just play a Mutavault, play a pack rat, and go on this game plan, which we saw him use to great effect in the last match.
And one thing you have to watch out for, and we saw Barich do this a lot during the Swiss yesterday, is he does have that 1-2 punch of Gorklan Rampager and Double Strike in his deck. That's either going to be with a Johnny Caller of the Pride or Boros Charm. Especially in a card like Witch Stalker, he can kind of create this combo finish that Black really has trouble interacting with.
I mean, given the game that he's in right now, he may have to actually work towards executing that combo finish because it looks like he's in a little bit of trouble here. He is a little bit behind on the board at this point. Just an experiment 1. He has taken some time to do some scrying here, but Barich knows that he can't block. A pack rat activation here from Schoolcraft is going to make it so that he's attacking for 2. And it's been a little while since we've seen a pack rat game from Mono Black, but that's exactly what we're going to see here. Just play pack rat on turn 2 and activated a whole bunch in combination with the Mutavault.
Yeah, next turn's make a pack rat, activate Mutavault. Then it's make a pack rat, activate Mutavault, maybe even swing with Mutavault.
Yeah. Barich's going to play Witch Stalker. He's going to evolve Experiment 1. He's going to come across here for 2 points of damage, or at least try to, and that is going to work. So Witch Stalker here on duty. Schoolcraft will untap and take a draw. We'll see if he has an untapped land so that he can actually make a pack rat and activate Mutavault, and it looks like he does have a swamp.
Yeah, that means Witch Stalker is not going to be able to block this turn. So Barich is going to be under a lot of pressure to get one of those combo finishes.
See Schoolcraft kind of working his way back and forth between that Hero's Downfall and that swamp. Maybe considering some other options here, but I think that in this particular game that we're watching, not saying that it's always correct in this matchup, but in this particular game, I think this is just a pack rat game. You don't do anything else. Again, you have access to your opponent's deck list. There isn't some sort of backdoor out like a Mizian Mortars with Overload or anything of that nature. You can just put the pedal to the metal and keep it pretty ABC here.
Yeah, if Witch Stalker was something like Luxodon Smiter, or there's a good case for casting Hero's Downfall here, but as it has hexproof and is only a 3/3, this is just the play.
Yeah. Discard Temple of Silence. We'll see if Schoolcraft has any interest in activating the Mutavault as well to be able to attack for a little bit more damage. It looks like the answer is no. So going to pass the turn back over to Barich.
Yeah, that seems like some missed damage there on his part.
I agree. Now, you can make the argument that he's trying to use that Mutavault defensively. So for the pack rat that's in play, it's actually a 4/4 on defense here, which trumps the 3/3 and the ability for Experiment 1 to actually become a 3/3. So you can make an argument for that.
Yeah, that said, if Barich attacks here with Witch Stalker, I think it's very risky to block with a pack rat. You really don't want to lose any of your rats. They're how you're winning the game.
Yeah, I mean, in this particular situation, I would have no interest in blocking if I was Schoolcraft. I would just, whatever you attack me with, that's cool. Like, it's not really going to matter. I'm at 18. 18 is a whole lot of life. Again, I know your deck list, so I know exactly how much range you have available.
Remember, I guess it doesn't particularly change the clock. With Barich at 10, pack rats are 5/5s next turn on the attack. There'll be 3 5/5s attacking. Barich is going to have to be able to block 2 of them. And he wants to preserve the possibility to top deck Gorklan Rampager for the immediate win. So my guess is we see a swing of Witch Stalker, a Temple, and then a Boon Satyr.
We might not see a swing of Witch Stalker at all. But here's the issue, right? Is if he's not attacking, he can't block. So he has to at least attack, and I think he has to actually give Schoolcraft the opportunity to make a mistake here.
Yeah.
I think that's the only chance that he actually has in the game.
Next turn, his play is that he has a double chump block.
I'm just going to pass the turn back here. Will Barich over to Schoolcraft, who will untap. He will take a draw.
Yeah, cards from the bottom. I really do think he's looking for Gorklan Rampager.
I think that's the only card that he can look for, in combination with that and the Boros Charm for a little double strike action. I think that's his best shot to try to win this particular game. There is another copy Mutavault. Boy, that's going to make things even more difficult now.
Yeah, that means the Pack Rats can get all the way up to 6/6 if Schoolcraft needs them to. It doesn't actually change the clock at the moment, so I think he'll probably just keep them as 5/5s, maybe use the other one defensively. But he gets to eat a lot of Barich's team right now.
Yeah, I mean, what ends up happening here is, Schoolcraft is going to send in. Barich is going to play that Boon Satyr. Likely to block. I mean, there's also the chance that he just leaves the uses the Selesnya Charm. But what I believe will happen here is he's going to play the Boon Satyr. He's going to evolve Experiment 1 into a 3/3. He gets to block 2 creatures and regenerate Experiment 1, so he actually gets to keep something post-combat here. He's just going to lose a Boon Satyr in this situation.
Exactly.
And there are your blocks. Here is your Pack Rat activation. Discarding a Lifebane Zombie.
Now, Han, Nicholas could have won here. If instead he Heroes Downfalls a Boon Satyr, and then has tasked both Mutavaults to activate themselves, that's 10.
Yep.
So that was a miss off a win on board right there.
Well, we'll see if that comes back to hurt him or not.
I mean, if Barich top decks the Gorklan Rampager right now, that'll be pretty big.
He's drawing. It's a Sacred Foundry.
It looks like Nicholas is going to get away with the game. I don't see a way for 15 damage on Aaron Barich's side.
Yeah, Barich has a Boros Charm and a Selesnya Charm right now. Does not have Gorklan Rampager, which he was looking for. I think a Johnny would have done it as well in this situation. He jumps the Witch Stalker, gives a double strike, and then... No, actually, Johnny wouldn't have done it either, so... He will play on, though. Here's a Temple of Plenty. He's going to put the top card to the bottom. Again, I like the ability just to keep playing on here. Maybe your opponent makes a mistake. You never know.
I mean, maybe he doesn't turn all the rats sideways. You never...
I mean,
that's what we're banking on.
It's completely feasible. You have to give your opponent the opportunity to make a mistake in a situation like this. There's certainly no reason to concede when you're in the elimination rounds. It's not like time is of the essence right now. If he kills you, he kills you, and if he doesn't, that's cool. Gives you another turn to maybe try to win and steal the game. At least, you give him the opportunity to overthink some things here.
And the full swing with Pack Rats, that should be lethal. Let's wait till Barich confirms it. And all right.
That's going to do it. So, Nicholas Schoolcraft is going to win in game number 1 here over Aaron Barich. You've got Mono Black Devotion up a game over Naya Aggro, as we'll bring it back to the booth here because it is trivia time yet again. Very quickly, the rules for you guys. Make sure your Twitters are open. Matthias is going to ask you a question. You're going to answer with the hashtag of SCG Premium, and we will announce the winner at the conclusion of our semifinal round. So, again, it is about accuracy, not speed in this instance. And Mr. Hunt, I hope you have a real doozy that does not pertain to Esper.
No, we're talking about Aaron Barich's deck, actually. His is his Naya deck. It looks a lot like a regular Naya deck in the main, because we have some sideboard plans. I'm going to look at, kind of what I think is the tell of the deck in the main. There's a 4-of hexproof creature in Aaron's main deck. So we're looking for a 3-drop hexproof creature. There's a 4 of an Aaron's main deck. What card is that? I would say it's the card that tells people that he may be up to something different in the sideboard. So if you believe you know the answer to that, tweet this with the hashtag SCG Premium. At the end of the round, we'll choose a winner. This is for 6 months of Start to the Games Premium.
That is correct. We're going to head back to the match. We'll take a look at the sideboard here, and this is where things actually get interesting for Mr. Aaron Barich, because even though he is down a game, he has a game plan here that is much different than anything we've ever seen from the Naya deck. 4 Skylatcher, 4 Ethereal Armor, 3 Madcap Skills, and 4 copies of Unflinching Courage. He can transform his deck into a Naya Hexproof deck. He also has the 4th Madcap Skills already in his main deck. That's just a 1-of over there. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is exactly where he wants to execute this game plan. He can bring in the Armors, the Courage, the Madcap Skills, and just try to ride that game plan home to victory.
Yeah, we saw him board in a lot of this package against Mono Black during the Swiss. Now, I'm wondering how much of that is the surprise factor. In the top 8 where your opponents know about your transform sideboard, it'll be interesting to see how much of it he still opts to go for. Tons of auras against Mono Black Devotion can be a liability.
On the other side here, you've got 3 Dark Betrayals of Devour Flesh, 3 Doomblades, 2 Erebos God of the Dead, 2 Drought Sorrows, and 4 Duresses. What do you like there?
I like the removal spells. I want to just kill everything, so I like Devour Flesh. I like Doomblade. I don't particularly like any of the other ones. Drown in Sorrow, I think, is tentative at best in its ability to kill Aaron Barich's creatures.
Yeah, I mean, you take a look at his creature base. He's got Experiment 1, Voice of Resurgence, Fleece Mainline, Witchstalker, Boon Satyr, Goreclan Rampager. Drought and Sorrow is really not going to get the job done on most of that stuff. So I actually would leave Drought and Sorrow on the board. I do love Doomblade. I do like Devour Flesh. You can make an argument for Duress because you know your opponent's going to be boarding into these hexproof things, and he does have a lot of spells to begin with. Just in his main deck, 4 Celestia Charm, 4 Boros Charm, 3 Advent of the Worm, 2 Ajani's, and 1 Madcap skills. And if you believe that he's going to sideboard into the hexproof package, Duress could actually do some work here.
Yeah, I think Duress is a card that you're allowed to sideboard in because there are 14 spells in the main deck and then another 11 in the sideboard. It's a very decent chance that Duress hits. The question is whether or not you want that effect. You know, the most important cards in Barich's deck aren't the spells, at least in this matchup. I'd still say that they're the creatures.
Yeah, I would agree. The creatures are how he's actually going to get the job done now. Of course, some of these spells do double as creatures, Celestia Charm and Advent of the Worm, but I don't think those are the most important cards here. So we will see what ends up happening here between these two players. Again, Aaron Barich defeated by Pack Rat pretty easily in game number 1. We'll see if he can maybe get back game number 2 and see a third and final one between these players. Other side of the bracket, again, just for you guys who are just joining us, Gabriel Kosagiomi, he is playing Esper Control. Right now he's against Jason Blackmore playing Green-White Aggro. Don't have an update on that match for you guys just yet, but if that game is still going, even though the first one was pretty quick here.
That's pretty good for Gabe's deck if it's still going.
Yeah, it is pretty good for the old Esper Control deck. And again, I do think that Kosagiomi is favored in that matchup just because it's not a green-white deck that is tailored to beating Esper. I take back everything I just said. Jason won game 1.
Well, there still is a game that happened in long enough that you could say, okay, could be the aggro deck
just
game.
Ignore everything I just said. Green-white up a game. Let me take a look at Blackmore's sideboard really quick. I want to see if things get any better for him. He's got 1 Rootborn Defenses, a Glare of Heresy, 3 Unflinching Courage, 2 Mistcutters, 2 Skylashers, 2 Plummets, 2 Last Breaths, 2 Unravel the Aethers. He's definitely got some tools.
He has some tools. He has 4 pro-blue creatures, for example. That's not a huge number, but not an irrelevant number of them.
So again, Schoolcraft going to shuffle up here. You see Barich is ready to go. Barich will be on the play here. It's been an outstanding tournament for the youngster. Sat down the sideboard with Andrew Schrott a little bit earlier. You guys can find that on our coverage page to figure out exactly how he came to this build of the deck. We've seen him win an Open Series in this room before. Back last year when we had a double standard open here, he made the top 8 of the first one, won the second one, filled in on the industry standard about why he was not playing Burning Tree Emissary in his Naya build, and now you see another Naya aggro deck here from him where he is not playing Burning Tree Emissary. Doesn't care to.
Yeah, both of his Naya decks have really just been about creature curve. He plays a style of Naya where he plays the big creatures. I remember last season he was playing a deck with, it was what, 4 Thundermaw Hellkite and Naya, one of the first players to just be, it was all 4. I remember it was, I believe, 9 different 4-ofs and 24 lands.
Yeah. You see Schoolcraft drawing up his hand here. Lifebane Zombie, the last card he picked up. Not sure how many lands he has. Barich has already kept his starting 7. Again, he said that he felt comfortable in this matchup, even though he did get pack-ratted into oblivion the last game.
Yeah, that strategy when Schoolcraft is on the draw is probably not as powerful.
Underway in game number 2. Down to 18 goes Barich. He's got an Experiment 1 to start things off here. Very important for him to get off to a quick start. You see he's got a Fleece Mainline as well. Looks like his second land may be a Temple of Plenty. If he's able to draw an untapped white source, he'll be off to a beautiful start here. Schoolcraft's going to start with just a Temple of Silence.
Yeah, it looks like he has a great curve. He has Temple of Plenty. It's the only other land, but he does have Fleece Mainline, Celestia Charm, Ajani, and Advent of the Worm.
Picked up a copy of Goreclan Rampager, so he's not going to be able to evolve or curve out on turn number 2. This is an attack for 1. This is part of the reason that Mana Confluence is actually a really important card for this style of deck, once that does become legal from Journey into Nyx.
Yeah, Mana Confluence would obviously be a really great card for the deck. Well, you see with the draw of Goreclan Rampager there and Ajani, he does have that 1-2 punch, but he has bricked on his 3rd land.
Yep.
A second Ajani, probably one of the less helpful cards in his deck.
This is a Fleece Mainline. This is an attempt to evolve Experiment 1. That's going to happen. Here's an attack. Schoolcraft does have a copy of Bile Blight in his hand at the ready. Just depends on which one he wants to target with it.
Yeah, and Schoolcraft can do exactly what he needs to do here, and that's curve removal into removal. He can Bile Blight, untap Hero's Downfall if he wants.
You see Barich ready to let that Fleece Mainline go. He knows that's going to die. Schoolcraft taking 2 points of damage. He'll take a draw here. Again, he does have a Life Bane Zombie in his hand if he would like to actually cast that to take care of the Gorklan Rampager that's over there. And he is going to drop down the Life Bane Zombie. So here's the grip of 2 Ajani's and Advent of the Worm. That Rampager that's going to leave, and then a Selesnya Charm.
Yep, Rampager is the only card you can hit there. So he does take that. So it's 2 Ajani's, Advent of the Worm, and Selesnya Charm. And still no land there. And with the Hero's Downfall that's in Schoolcraft's hand, things are going pretty well for him right now.
Yeah, he's got to be really, really happy with how the game was going. I believe he has a Desecration Demon in his grip as well. So Mono Black doing what Mono Black does, which is causing a real headache for creature decks.
One thing I do like, actually, is that on Aaron's side is that it's a little hard for... Life Bane Zombie has trouble fighting with the Experiment 1. Experiment 1's at a 3/3. You know, it actually is one of the, I think, the few situations where you can regenerate Experiment 1 and have it work.
Yep. Attack here for 2 right now. Selesnya Charm still in the grip here for Barich. He's going to play Temple of Plenty, so he does find his 3rd land. Unfortunately for him, it's going to come into play tapped. He's going to leave that card on top. There's a chance that that's a 4th land for Advent of the Worm. We'll find out in just a little bit as Schoolcraft does untap. He will take a draw.
Yeah, Barich is behind right now, but not terribly so. You know, Schoolcraft's creatures are Desecration Demon and Grey Merchant. He has the Demon covered with Selesnya Charm. I think the problematic part for Barich is that Schoolcraft has a pair of Hero's Downfalls in hand.
Well, Selesnya Charm's going to get the 6/6 off the table right now. Barich's going to quickly untap. He's going to take a draw. That is a 4th land. It is a Temple. He can deploy an Ajani this turn and pump up Experiment 1 if he would like. Now here's 3 mana. There is Ajani. This is going to pump up Experiment 1. In for 3 we go. Schoolcraft's going to go down to 12. And now he's got to consider the options of, all right, do I attack you or do I attack Ajani? Which card actually matters more?
Yeah, well, he knows that there's a second Ajani. So taking care of an Ajani, while good, is really all it's going to accomplish is tying up Barich's mana.
This is actually pretty interesting. Barich might be able to try to steal this game. This land's going to come into play tapped here. Again, remember, Schoolcraft has 8 Temples in his deck. A lot of the mono black decks that we see over the course of the past couple of months have either played 3 or 4 Temples. Very rarely do we see 8. So Schoolcraft has less untapped lands than most do. Now he's going to go attacking the Ajani. He's going to follow this up with a Desecration Demon.
Yeah, and this demon is very powerful on Schoolcraft's side. There's not a Selesnya Charm in the waiting for Barich. So this, you know, this is just a 6-power flyer. It's going to be big enough to trump a lot of the creatures that Barich has.
Voice of Resurgence to draw. That can actually do a decent job of controlling the demon. Depends how just Barich wants to allocate his resources this turn. He's going to tick up, it looks like.
Yeah, Experiment 1 becomes a 4/4, and it's going to become, he leaves up the Telltale Advent of the Worm mana, which could put Experiment 1 up to a 5/5.
As you did mention, too, 2 copies of Hero's Downfall right now in Schoolcraft's hand. The issue here for Barich depends on where the attacker's going, because that's right now Schoolcraft actually has lethal with the Grey Merchant, right? Because it's an attack for 9. 15 minus 9, of course, is 6, and then you do the Devotion check with Grey Merchant, and that would be an exactly lethal Grey Merchant. So the tough spot here.
Yeah, if Barich doesn't tap anything, he's dead.
Yeah, as long as Schoolcraft sends the attacks appropriately, he would actually die. So, and this is the thing about Mono Black. I mean, think about what happened just 2 turns ago. It looked like he was doing pretty well for himself. You know, Life Bane Zombie came after the Ajani. He's sitting at 15 life. Okay, you play Desecration Demon, that's fine. And all of a sudden, he can just die in the next turn.
I feel like sometimes you forget, like, Desecration Demon is a 6/6 for 4. That's huge.
That's
and
gigantic.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's absolutely gigantic, as we're being told right now that Jason Blackmore, he won the match in 2 games very, very quickly. So I didn't think he would beat Esper, and that's why I don't make the predictions very often.
I mean, if it's a 15-minute match, you think it's going to go the way of the aggro deck.
Yes. Here are your attacks right now.
Speaking of matches that finish real quickly, you might have another one of those. Lethal Grey Merchant.
And that is going to do it. Nicholas Schoolcraft is going to win this game and the match over Aaron Barich. Mono Black Devotion does move on to the finals. You see the power of Mono Black. Again, Desecration Demon is so big and so good at closing out games.